All right. So our guest today for our young alumni spotlight is Anthony Covington. Anthony is a senior consultant at Deloitte. He is also a trustee on the Rutgers Board of Trustees and graduated from Rutgers 2015.
Yes, that is correct.
So you are really going slow and making sure you're getting everything done.
It's all in the pursuit of Rutgers. You know, I bleed Scarlet, so I do what I can.
That's awesome. What brought you to Rutgers in the first place?
Yeah, so I am born and raised in New Jersey. I come from a town called Bordentown, in South Jersey, some central, depending on how you see New Jersey, or if you consider there to be a central Jersey. I am one of those believers. There's a true central Jersey.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you very much.
So for me, I was really looking for a place that I can expand, and Rutgers actually wasn't at the top of my list. But when I was in high school, I was a volunteer firefighter, and I was really looking for programs that could expand that kind of community involvement. And Rutgers is one of the few universities in the country, actually, where they have a full-fledged fire department. And I would love to say that was my primary reason, but additionally, you know, I come from modest backgrounds, and you know, our family didn't have a lot of money, and Rutgers presented a great return on an investment. And I was fortunate enough to get, you know, a lot of scholarships, and Rutgers, you know, overall fit the package. And I tell you, it's been probably one of the best decisions of my life. So really, really happy I'm a Scarlet Knight.
That's awesome. I noticed I was looking at your resume. You started, before you even graduated from Rutgers, you were already doing, working with Chris Christie. You're working in politics.
Yeah.
What is that something that was always part of the plan, or is it something you fell into?
Yeah, for me, community involvement is so important to me. You know, I would not be the man I am today without members of my community, my family, to support me. And I kind of got into politics when I was in high school. I started a young, I called them politically engaged students, and we basically just talked about things, the upcoming election, and you know, where were we as students going to feel, and what was our positions going to be. It wasn't necessarily Democrat versus Republican. It was really just to engage students. And from that, I joined, or I was invited to go to something called Boy State in New Jersey. It's held every year at not Rider University. And if you've seen the, you know, the Apple video on Boy State out of Texas, it's similar to that, but basically you create a 51st fictitious state off of the state that you live in, and ours happens to be New Jersey. And I was fortunate enough to be elected governor there against a
That's
thousand.
cutthroat.
Yeah, but it opened my eyes up to a lot of things, but more importantly, the value of your vote and your voice. And so from there, I knew I really wanted to get more involved in politics, and that opportunity opened up a constituent liaison opportunity at the governor's office. You know, for me at that time, and still, you know, I wasn't Democrat or Republican, but I really wanted to make sure I can engage with my community, and doing constituent relations or services, I thought was a beautiful way to understand the needs of the community, along with, you know, being a firefighter. So yeah, before I got it, you know, I came to Rutgers, I kind of had all these thoughts, but then Rutgers just took it to the next level. It really became a platform for me to expand on the opportunities that I had, and really what I thought I could do in New Jersey, or like just in general for myself.
Who is your Jersey Boys State speaker? We had Cory Booker.
Yes, we did have. Well, no, actually, we had Bob Menendez,
Okay.
and then subsequently, I was a counselor for 5 years after that, and we had Cory Booker and others that came. That's another program that's near and dear to my heart. Something I love, and I think it's a great opportunity to get students involved. politically and just engaged. So I give a lot of kudos to that program.
That's awesome. You and I were actually there at the same time. I was
Yes.
Marshall House,
Yes.
2014, or
Yeah.
no, 2013.
Yes, we definitely were. I was not at Marshall House. You're gonna date me because that was 7 or 6 years ago. So I'm not sure exactly what house I belong to, but it's. I'm happy that you speak highly of the program because I think it's an amazing thing for young students.
It really was. So so you went for Boys State, you got into Rutgers. What are
Mhm.
some of those meaningful experiences you had as a Rutgers student?
Yeah, I will say my involvement in the Educational Opportunity Fund, me being a firefighter on campus, me being involved in student government, and then last, serving on the board of trustees for Rutgers. And if we have some time, I would love to go into each one of those because I think
Sure.
they're so important and kind of talks about my trajectory at Rutgers. When I came in, I came in through the EOF program at Rutgers, and you know it was if for people that don't know about EOF, it's a program that gives people that are highly motivated and intelligent, but maybe lack financial backing, extra scholarships and funding to attend a university like Rutgers. And so when I got there, I came in with a cohort of a couple hundred students, and that was kind of my first opportunity to engage in youth student voice. And there, that summer, I got elected as the freshman representative for the EOF class. And then I joined something called EOPSA, which is the student government side of EOF. And that really led me into RUSA, Rutgers University Student Assembly, and involved in participating in student government. Because of that position, it really kicked off everything. I got to know so many members within the university, with the administration and students. And it really kind of propelled me to use my voice, because I can say for a long time, it's one thing to kind of think about issues and policies. It's another to actually advocate for them.
Hmm.
And I think that was the first opportunity that I was kind of thrown into a position where you went from merely, speaking on issues to advocating for those. And that freshman year kind of really took hold. I was also the first, or it was that summer going into my sophomore year where EOF was actually in danger of being cut for funding by, I think
Remember
it was
that?
$1.2 million. Um, and that was something that really, struck a chord with me, because I felt like students like myself, maybe are separated by a zip code, or just lack a couple $100s to go to school, could potentially lose the opportunity to go to Rutgers. And that was something that, not only is it near and dear to my heart, but I just felt was wrong. And I wanted to do everything, I could to push that agenda. So I helped lead a letter writing campaign to the governor's office and to the education committee in Trenton. And thankfully, funding was restored and we didn't lose any funding that year, but that really set everything in motion. Um, and then moving on, talking about just being a firefighter on campus, that is, an opportunity that I'll never forget. It's a way that I was, still engaging, still doing community work, but, being a firefighter is something I love. And right now, where I live, they don't have a volunteer department, so I can't do that. But volunteering as a firefighter was something that was so important. And when I was a student, I actually got paid for it, so it helped me with my books and other things. So really happy to have that opportunity. And then the third part, like I said, with student government, from EOF into student government, I really got to understand how, policies were created, what was the mindset of students. And I was elected as a university at large senator. I got to participate in so many, conversations and really pushed agendas forward that I think really represented students. And that ultimately led into my junior year being appointed and selected, or unanimously confirmed by the Board of Trustees, to be one of the youngest student charter trustee members on the Board of Trustees. and that was now 8 years ago. So it was just an incredible experience, because that now took me from just merely a student to taking all that input that I had as a student and really advocating for them at the university administrative level, where I tell you, that was something I could never dream of. I didn't know it was an opportunity. I couldn't plan for it, but it has been a, um, a platform for me to really advocate for students in the best way I know how. So I think that,
Any notable items? I mean, it sounds like you've been a little busy. Any notable items some Rutgers alumni or students would know about?
yeah, well, the merger with Robert Wood Johnson is a big one that I was a part of. Um, the uh, fight or act to save Rutgers Camden. That was a big controversy, that, it seemed people in South Jersey had a different, idea for what Rutgers Camden should be. And, very proud and happy to say that we were able to work with, legislators and other people within the community to prove that Rutgers College, Rutgers Camden, belongs with Rutgers. And so that's probably one of my, shining moments, is really advocating for that. A little bit more recently, though, the merger of the Big Ten. I think we all love Big Ten football, and we just got our first win of the season, over Michigan State. So let's go Scarlet Knights. Really excited about that. I was watching it from my couch. I wish I could be there in person, but yes, I got the Rutgers R1 too, and
There we go. Very nice.
so people try to doubt Rutgers or count us out, but we got the first W, and that's all that matters, and we're going to continue to win. So
This interview is going to go up in a couple of weeks, so hopefully this ages well.
absolutely, and we're the ones that talked about it first, right?
Right.
But so absolutely that the Big Ten merger, and most notably the bringing in of the new President Holloway, an outstanding individual. Happy that he's leading the ship. Happy that I get to work with him and really help chart the next course for Rutgers in this new generation. And the last bit, in which I didn't want to end with, the President Holloway, or that, even though it might be more recent, is Rutgers Scarlet Promise Grants. They used to be called Rutgers Assistant Grants, RAG, and now they're Scarlet Promise Grants. And that is something the board unanimously adopted to take on as one of their campaigns or initiatives. And we have given hundreds of thousands of dollars to that. And some board members have donated, hundreds of thousands of dollars of their own money. And when President Holloway first joined the board, he even made a personal financial commitment. And to me, that program signifies everything that stands for Rutgers. It's to give opportunity for people like myself and others to continue to go to school, to stay in school, and to graduate. Because if it's one thing that Rutgers does, we take care of our own. And so I'm really proud to stand behind that program, and really happy to see it touching so many people.
That's awesome. Let's transition a little bit over to what you're doing now.
Yeah.
I mentioned you're a consultant with Deloitte.
Mm-hmm.
What's the role you're doing now? Anything you're currently involved in outside of Rutgers?
Yeah, so how I got into Deloitte is it's kind of a random thing, but my junior year, I had an opportunity to go into banking, or to work in the previous administration under Obama. And I jumped at the opportunity to work in that administration, and I learned so much. That was actually also the first time I ever went to DC. And working in DC, I fell in love with the culture of the area. And
Falling in love with the culture of DC.
yeah. What I mean by that is its diversity, not necessarily the political arena or its contention there, but I think DC is a melting pot. You will meet so many different communities, cultures, that it's a true melting pot, and that is something that I was attracted to, or I am attracted to. Hence why I live there. But I learned about Deloitte, and before that, I didn't even know what consulting firms were, or more or less what they did. And so I had an opportunity. I joined the Rutgers Consulting Club my senior year, and I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to work at Deloitte 5 years ago. And now I'm a senior consultant leading teams in technology consulting at Deloitte. And my portfolio covers education, healthcare, technology, and defense work. So it's been an amazing ride, and one of the things I also get pleasure of actively recruiting Rutgers students. So I come to campus from time to time before COVID, of course, not only for board meetings but to recruit and bring some of the best and brightest of Rutgers to Deloitte. So outstanding program, and I can't talk about it enough.
How have your Rutgers experiences informed the work you're doing?
Well, how to consensus build is a major thing that I learned through RUSA. One of the things I don't talk about a lot, but I'm extremely humbled by and proud of, is my involvement in Cap and Skull. For those who don't know, Cap and Skull, it's a senior honor society that selects 18 members a year. And I was fortunate enough to be selected in my senior year. And those relationships and some of the things that we talked about in terms of agreeing while still disagreeing and kind of pushing issues is something that has stuck with me through my time at Deloitte. I realized that you're not always going to be right, but if you can come to some common ground, you'll get farther than you were before. And if you start looking at people for their similarities instead of their differences, you're going to be able to see each other much better than you could before. And that goes to the next point about, the experiences. At Rutgers, I feel like you can be two types of people. You can be just a number that fades away, right? Because it's a big campus, a big university. Or you can be someone that takes that field, that pond, however you want to call it, and you grab it by the horns, right? And you make your experience what you want of it. And at Deloitte, it's similar, where we have this philosophy: you lead and you build your own career, and it's so true. And it's the lessons of kind of being independent and resourceful, and knowing how to consensus build and getting the opinion of others that really propelled me in my thinking at Deloitte, which I hope my bosses will say that I'm successful, but I definitely think I take that day in and day out.
You get out what you put in.
Yes, absolutely. I'm long-winded. You said it very succinctly. You get out what you put in. Yes.
I've always felt that was one of the best parts of Rutgers. You can go in, you can get a degree, or you can go in and you can really do something special.
Yep.
With what's available. There's no single path to success.
So true. That is.
So what do you plan for the future? What's next?
Well, I'll tell you, for all the listeners out there, whenever this is going to be posted, I'm in a search right now to go back to grad school. And I will tell anyone, I've been out of school for 5 years, and it is incredibly hard. Compounded that with the pandemic. You're sitting at a computer desk, for me anyway, talking, trying to connect with people, but also trying to find time for my personal well-being and mental health, and then also studying. It's extremely taxing, along with the other organizations I'm involved in DC. We didn't even get to that, but I quite frequently feel that my time is slim, and there's not enough time in a day to get everything done. But my next goal is to go back to get my MBA or my MPA, so I can just continue to further my career. Ultimately, I want to be in public service, whatever that may be. If it's holding office, if it's serving, on the Board of Education. For me, service work is so important. And I think that's why when I joined Deloitte, I specifically joined our GPS practice, which stands, basically it's our government and public services, our public sector practice, where we focus on, like I said, the local governments, the education side, or the federal agencies. And for me, I wanted to do something where I give back. And here I get to serve, agencies or school districts or what have you that is benefiting actual people. And that's something that's always stuck with me. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get there, but I know that if I keep keep my eyes open and keep looking for opportunities and finding ways to serve that. Hopefully I'll find it. So.
That's awesome. Any prospective schools?
I would love to say Rutgers, but I'm trying to diversify, my experiences, and I'm sure Rutgers probably wouldn't accept me back anyway. I joke a little bit, but I really want to, make sure that wherever I go is somewhere that's going to allow me the opportunity to build on the beautiful platform that Rutgers has created for me.
And as you're so busy, how do you, one of the questions, how you stay involved with alma mater, which obviously is something that we've heard a little bit about, but
Mhm.
the other part of that is how you stay involved with your fellow alumni. I know a previous honoree of this spotlight is Yusuf Saleh,
Mhm.
who you've mentioned as a classmate of yours.
Mhm.
So in the RUSA at the same time. How do
Mhm.
you stay involved with other folks from Rutgers that you were friends with, colleagues with when you were a student?
Well, Yusuf is also a Cap and Skull member, so we talk not frequently as I would like, but we try to follow everyone. To your first point, how I stay connected, it's you just find time. If it's important to you, you make the time for it. I say Rutgers takes about 25% of my day every day, no matter what it's about. If it's for alumni engagement work, or if it's something with the foundation, I can literally name anything. The RAAA, Rutgers African American Alumni Alliance. Like there's something that Rutgers needs, and I'm sure I can give my time to. But being connected to people, I think it's just staying present. I have a core group of friends that are in DC from Rutgers that I interact with constantly. And then also my fraternity on campus. I try to go back there, once a year, yeah, if not more, to engage. But with the pandemic, things have been hard, so it's a lot of phone calls. I'm not going to say I'm the perfect person to follow up, but what I can say is that you know um, I'm going to work as hard as I can because what you already know, relationships matter, and those people, my friends, colleagues, they have impacted me uh, through my Rutgers experience, and I don't want to forget that. So I try my best. They're sure I probably need to follow up with a couple of people since the pandemic, but to me, I like it. It's exciting. It's fun. When I go back to campus, I get this burst of energy, and I just want to do so much. Um, so yeah.
What's your biggest point of pride as a Scarlet Knight?
Ooh. Besides serving on the board, because that's, I think, goes without question, the things I've been able to achieve for Rutgers and because of Rutgers is outstanding. But actually, probably dance marathon. Every year they continue to break the record, but when I was there, I volunteered and participated, and we had the record for fundraising that year. And to me, going to such causes like that, just it highlights why Rutgers is so great because of its people and its commitments. So
That's awesome. Um, we have a couple more minutes.
Mhm.
I've got basically two more questions, but I did want to touch on, you mentioned there's more that you're involved in now that, besides just your job and besides just Rutgers,
Yeah.
what are some other things that you're involved in? You mentioned you worked with Obama.
Mhm.
Uh, talk a little bit about that.
So when I worked in the previous administration, that was I don't currently work with him. He's a great leader, and I would love to work with him. So Mr. President, if you have any opportunities for me, please reach out. But no, I worked in the constituent relations section of the former administration, and again, it was taking what I've already done on a local scale. Working for I formerly worked for Senator Cory Booker and Bob Menendez, to taking that to the federal level and really trying to engage with constituents around the country, understanding their needs, and really trying to find ways the federal government could help and pitch in. And like now more than ever, our country is in pain. We're hurting, right? Hundreds of thousands of people have died because of this virus, and I think work like that, understanding the pain points and what's going on in a community level, in a town or a city is so important. And that role really allowed me to do that. And now, since I'm always looking for more things to do and put more things on my plate for some reason, I don't know. I recently joined something called the Global Shapers, which is a program founded from the World Economic Forum, where it's basically a group of highly motivated young people under the age of 30 that come together to support programs within their local community. And then usually they take that and they expand it, and there's hubs around the world. We have over 8,000 active shapers from, I think it's like 75 or plus hubs around the world to connect and do great things, positive things for the community, which we seek to shape. And I actually serve as the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Officer for the Global Shapers of DC, which is another organization that is very near and dear to my heart. So I tell you, there's never enough time in the day, but things like this always matter. And I will always try to find time because they're usually impacting people that were a young Anthony 10 or 15 years ago. And as I said in the beginning of this interview, I would not be the man I am today without, others' support from my mom, from my community members, from my friends. And that's why I do what I do, because I want to help others get to the same position or even higher than I have been able to.
That's awesome. I also noticed you're involved with the Carnegie Council for Ethics and International Affairs.
Yes. Talking about thought leadership, that's it right there. How can I really elevate my level of thinking when it terms of being a leader? Some people think naturally that, this is for all, soon-to-be graduates or graduates of Rutgers, right? People think that, how can I be a mentor if I've never had those experiences? Well, you forget that there's so many students, right, that are coming into college, right? Or maybe they're sophomore or junior year or whatever, right, that need your help because they haven't gone through the experiences that you've gone to. So for me, some people have this stoic idea of what a leader is, that you're, at such and such position, but really, a leader can be anyone at any position, at any level. And for me, I want to make sure that I can be a leader today in the current capacities that I serve in any way possible to help others. And I feel like if I'm not challenging, the norms and challenging my thinking on certain topics or ideas, then I'm not growing as a leader. And so that organization is filled with amazing people around the country that really helps me do that. And we come together and talk about ethics in every form of the way, from career to business, from war to politics. If there's a field, you name it, we talk about it. And it's been amazing to really just expand my point of view. So
that's really awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Last question.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've kind of touched on this throughout the whole conversation, but speaking directly to it, what kind of advice do you have for young alumni or students that are going to be graduating this year, especially in the light of everything that's going on? What advice would you have based on your experiences?
Never give up. Don't take no for an answer. If you're pursuing something that you truly believe in, right? That's not saying just to never say no or take no, but I mean, if you're passionate about something, right, go after it, get it. Rutgers is giving you all the tools that you could ever need, right? And you're going to learn many more things outside of Rutgers. But that foundation that Rutgers will give you, if you take up the opportunity, it has everything you need. So believe in yourself first and foremost. Help others, support your friends, your colleagues, your teammates, and remember, why you came to Rutgers. Whether it was because you were forced by your parents, you got a scholarship, or you love Rutgers and you want to be a Scarlet Knight. There's a reason why you were there. And as you go get a job, go into your career, remember that reason, because it's going to help you get to the next level and get to the next chapter in your life. And just because whoever is listening or watching this, it may be 10 years that you've been removed from the university. It may be 5, it may be 4. I know we're talking to young alumni here, but however old you are, and how many years you graduated, does not mean that Rutgers doesn't need your help, doesn't need your support. So you can always get more involved in Rutgers. You can always give back and come back. And I think this this interview and these types of series is a testament to that Rutgers cares about its own, and we want to take care of our own.
All right. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for taking the time. We wish you the best of luck. We hope to have you at some RAA events in the future, and have a great day.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and to tell my story. And I can't wait for more events after COVID to talk. And if not, we'll do more Zoom. But again, thank you so much for providing this platform for people like myself to engage with other Rutgers students and alumni. I think what you and the alliance is just amazing. So I hope to see more young alumni featured on this program and hear the incredible work that they're doing.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.